Now, the African Union has announced it has deferred implementation of the Continental Free Trade Agreement, which was earlier scheduled to commence on July 1. The indefinite postponement is due to the coronavirus pandemic. According to the Union, African governments are currently not in a good position to fully implement the pact. The 55-nation Continental Free Trade Zone has the potential of creating a $3.4 trillion economic bloc with 1.3 billion people across Africa and constitutes the largest new trading bloc since the World Trade Organization was formed in 1994. I've been joined by the Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce, of course, ICC, Emmanuel Doni Kwame, for his thoughts on the latest development. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the marketplace.
Good afternoon.
Now, is this news coming to you as a shock in the first place?
Not really. We all know of the situation at hand, the public health crisis, and that's paramount, and it takes precedence over trade. So we all expected some delays in most projects, programs, especially meetings that involves people. Once you don't have the free movement of people across borders, definitely, it's definitely going to impact trade. So
I'm actually asking you this because a few people, or a few think tanks I've spoken with, are indicating that we should rather use this situation, the current health situation, as a catalyst to promote the CFTA.
The CFTA is already in motion. I have a position on that, since we already have the regional blocks, and they've been doing the work from time immemorial. And CFTA has more or less fast-tracked the work of ECOWAS and the other various regional blocks. So the pandemic just brought things to the fore, and already, yes, we've set a deadline, but things are still being done. That doesn't mean the momentum will slow down. Just that meeting the deadline of 1st July will be a bit more difficult, because the focus of most governments now is to save lives. And then the next step may be to save livelihoods. Yeah.
So what were the expectations as part of this agreement, and for which you think some African governments would be disappointed in this particular latest development?
I don't think anybody will be disappointed, because the negotiations have to do with the rules of origin, and then to come out with a new tariff regime. But now we can shift the focus and then kickstart it by just trying removing tariffs on essential goods, notably food and medical supplies. So and also to try and develop our own local industries within these sectors. So more or less, it's still in line, and then more can be done. But the focus globally now, it's to use this opportunity to try and develop the various industries within these two sectors. Then secondly, we could also look at digital trade, because once people cannot move, then there's the need for us to look at how entrepreneurs can come out with solutions for us to go around some of the challenges we are facing now.
Yes, talking about solutions, between now and when it finally commences, what should be the new posturing of the Secretariat right here in Accra, just to offset any unforeseen contingencies such as these?
What happened, as far as I know, is that the Secretariat is still in Addis Ababa. They tried convening meetings using having web conferences, and they've had challenges because of language barriers, and then the challenges with internet on the continent, as we all know. So from now to 1st July, or till when the pandemic, we may find some solutions around the pandemic for workshops and conferences to happen. We could address these bits, and then as we address in the medical bit, people are coming out with solutions, coming out with products like ventilators, test kits, and others. Those within the IT industry can also be looking at how to resolve these things for us to catch up with our colleagues.
All right.
So that, because the virus is here to stay, I don't think it will be leaving very soon, but we may find very easy solutions to.
In your own words, if it prolongs, is it not also protracting the danger in this particular agreement that Africa stands to gain out of?
It's slowing down things because it's affecting the free movement of people, and you can't have trade without people moving around. And both the position of ICC together with the Secretariat, from what I gather from the information from the Secretary General, is that we should allow trade to flow.
Okay.
Despite the situation we find ourselves in. The regulations are intense, yes. Behind the scenes, still trade ministers will be meeting. In May, heads of states will also meet to set new dates. And then in the interim, they have to remove, we are even calling for removal of all tariffs on foods and then essential medical supplies. We need to remove all these tariffs and then create new corridors for these to flow freely. Once those are being done, and then get our scientists to also come out with innovations and products, not only for their individual countries, but for the continent as a whole. If Senegal has developed a test kit and they can produce enough, we should find a way of using the CFTA for these products to move around the continent easily. If Ghana comes out with a solution, we make sure we produce it enough. If some of the raw materials cannot be sourced in Ghana and can be gotten from Niger or Mali, we work together to make sure we get the raw materials and then produce them in large quantities for the entire.
So you don't think we could have pursued with the virtual platform systems so that we await either a cure or a vaccine, then we can proceed also with the physical movement and transactions?
Yes, exactly. So the focus now is to look at finding solutions to the pandemic, as I mentioned, and also getting entrepreneurs to come up with solutions as far as the digital aspect of things are concerned. We've been pushing, we need to go paperless, we need to go cashless. These are times once people are isolated and from home, it gives you more time to think through the box. Through the box and come out with some solutions. We've been seeing a lot on social media, young men solutions on how to wash our hands, people are developing all kinds of sanitizers. Previously we all be rushing to China to just import, but exports and imports have slowed down. International trade is actually slowed down drastically. So most
Kwame is the Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce and Industries.